Time for eSeniors Hypercar Championship with LMU. My name is Mike Molesky. I'm your broadcaster today. And we are at Interlagos for the fourth race of the season. And I'm coming to you early morning in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And we are into a midpoint of the season, so I'm going to go straight to the standings today. There we are. It's a live picture, so I've knocked out the points because it's showing the race. The race was a couple of days ago, or yesterday, I should say. And so in first place is Mr. Brian Murray. Second place is Mr. Steve Young from the US of A, and third place, Mr. Nick Newcomb from the British Isles somewhere, and in fourth place, Mr. Michael McLennan. Fifth is Jeremy. So those are our standings. You notice Brian has won every race, and Steve Young is second every race. So he's going to be looking to try to get a first out of this. And because those are the those two guys are the cream of the crop. Everybody else has had varying different finishes in the season. So let me get right to the race. There is the tower. So today is, that doesn't look very good. Why is that looking a little weird? Oh no, that's okay. It's going to be a little bit different of a race since I had the perspective of being last. I saw what was going on, or a little bit different broadcast, I should say. His perspective of being last in the race, I saw what the gaps were. So the gaps mid-race lengthened out, so we're probably going to have a short broadcast today. I'll get into it a little bit later about why I'm so late in doing the broadcast. I'm a bit busy this weekend with an auto show, and I'll tell you about that maybe when things get a little interesting. And here we go. So in qualification, Brian Murray again at the top, Mr. Steve Young in second, Mr. Nick Newcomb in third, Mr. Michael McLennan in fifth, exactly the way the league standings are right now. Jeremy had a very good qualification, as did Lee Ellis. Again, those were all exactly the same as the standings. From 1 all the way down to 7th. Uwe did not race today. He's usually a little bit, I'm always last, by the way, but that's fine. In my race today, I dropped a couple of seconds off my best lap time, so I was good. And I'm only a couple of seconds, with that time, I was only a couple of seconds off the leader's qualification time, so I was pretty happy about that. Anyway, here we go with the start. I'm going to make sure I've got everything set up properly, and I'm going to check one last thing before I go too far to make sure we are broadcasting properly, and we are. Look at that. Okay, so here we go with the start. Again, this is a replay mode, and the LMU does not have the gap times up there. I can't do anything about that, I'm sorry to say. I'm going to take a look to see if I can move these HUDs over. It looks like it's kind of in the middle of the screen there, isn't it? So I've got a wide screen going here. So here comes the start. Only had really a couple of incidents in the race that I'm going to review before. There we go. And Steve gets a good start on Brian, but Brian's got the inside line. Look at this. Oh, Steve is ahead. Steve is ahead. Nice job, Steve. Very nice start for Steve. Let's go back a little bit to see. I'm going to go I've got the ability to go back. Let's just go back a little bit and see the rest of the field. So what kind of start they had. Everybody's pretty well behaved. Not exactly, but a lot of close action there, but everybody stays pretty well without hitting anybody else. Who's that just went wide? That might have been Ellis. There was a little bit of a tap there from Ben Chaya. Looks like Ben Chaya is going to get ahead. He's trying to get ahead of he does get ahead of Jeremy, and he's trying to get ahead of Lee here at this point. going to the top. Brian is behind Steve. And Nick is trying to get, let me get a little bit better view here. There we go. Nick is trying to get by McLennan. There's Brian. Let's just see what's going on here at the back. Everything's cool. Nick is close. Let's just see. Oh, somehow there, we're going to stop that and go back. Somehow Steve lost the lead. That's not good for him because we know how good Brian is. Let's just back up slightly and get inside Mr. Murray's car and see what happened here. Steve went a little wide, a little bit of a wiggle. Oh, big slide there. That's what happened. Oh, big mistake early on. That is going to cost him big time because I think Brian is going to get a good lead here, and that's going to be hard to get that back. Let's just go down the pipe here and see if we've got some people. There's Jeremy trying to get a good view of everybody. Interlagos has this great long straight, not really a straightaway. The pit straight is flat out with some small curves all the way. And look at those kilometers per hour. 300 he should hit. Almost 300. Whoa, there's some action. Let us go back and see what happened there. What time are we at? Yeah, I know exactly what happened there. I'm going to back up a little bit. Do 4 minutes and get on board with Mr. Newcomb. So here comes Nick. Let's get a track view of Nick. A little bit of a wiggle there. He's got Lee right on his tail. And I think Lee gets the better of him there. Now they're side by side essentially. Nick's a little bit of, or Lee is a little bit of ahead. And then Nick just loses it. Now we have the benefit of replay here. So I'm going to just replay that. Or sorry, back up. Replay that in slow-mo. Look at that. Super slow-mo. See what happens here is Lee comes in and locks up slightly, I think. That unsettles Nick because we're going full speed there, 200 kilometers an hour. And then Nick just loses it. Starts to slide. Look at those nice tire marks on that track. Beautiful graphics. And who's coming around here? That is Benchaya. Able to come around. So does Jeremy probably. There he goes. And eventually I do, I think. Nick's not going to move. Let's go back to full speed here. Right here. I go around the outside. So then Nick comes in and Nick has to work himself back up the leaderboard to get into some contention. Let's just quickly get back to Steve. And Murray. Murray has not pulled away. Steve actually caught up with him a little bit, didn't he? Let's get on board with Steve to see how close he is. Good job here with Steve hanging in there with Brian. He's got to be pissed that he lost that lead. As he is in a battle from second to first. He's looking for his first win in the series here against Brian, who's won every one. He's getting sick, I think Steve is, of being the bridesmaid in second place every race. And let's just go down the board here to see who else is getting close. Oh, here we go. There's Jeremy and Michelle. This is the closest battle, I think. Let's try a different... Oh, you know what? Let's try a rear view, of Michelle, and that's Jeremy behind him. Look at these. Beautiful view, huh? The back of that hypercar. Michelle has some great pace there, it looks like. Let's just jump on board with these guys. Again, full speed along here to a sharp, interesting left-hander. Gets sharper as you come along, so you really got to get down slow here and be careful in the throttle, because this one you cannot take full speed until you get to that apex. And it's super important to get a good exit on those two corners, because another long straight here. See, look at Jeremy got the better of Michelle in that case, and was able to come up. And look at that side by side coming around literally side by side, and they both go wide. These two boys are friends, so this is fun for them. Jeremy still side by side with Benchaya, and then Michelle breaks a little later on Jeremy, but Jeremy's coming back. Here we go. This is a battle. This is one of the only battles we have in the race, so we're going to stick with it right here. Let's get on board with Jeremy. He's behind there now, and let's watch him battle his buddy. Here's a corner you can take flat out, and then this is a sharp left-hander, but it opens up. So taking, and again into the long straight, so it opens up, so that very critical to get a good exit on that corner, because you're flat out. Let's see what kind of top speed Jeremy gets on the end of the straight. You know, these hypercars are approaching F1 speeds. I think the F1s get up to 310-ish, and then we can get up to 320 or so on the F1s. These guys get up to 305, 310. Just stick with this, because I'll show you, we'll get back to this one in 7:30. There's Steve. Steve's hanging in there with Brian. Working that throttle pretty good. Lee Ellis, McLennan is behind. Lee Ellis has got a big gap. So again, how is Nick doing? Well, Nick's coming up to these two guys. Nick had lots of pace there, and he was in third place in qualification, so he's going to catch up here. And this is, whoa, and Benchaya, that's what I thought was going to happen. I did see this. Michelle just lost it there. Let's get over here a little bit. Let's get on board with Michelle. Let's go back a little further. Let's get on board with Michelle and see what happens. We'll look at it from trackside view first, and then we'll go inside his cockpit. So he's being harassed again on the same spot by Jeremy. Jeremy seems to have it going on that series of corners, and then Michelle hits the curb there a little bit. He's wandering a little bit. I don't know if that's net code or not, but just loses it a little bit there and can't catch it, and hits the wall, goes deep into the wall. Michelle actually retires a little bit later. Let's back up a little bit more, and let's watch it from his cockpit. Let's get on board with him. Sorry, in his cockpit, right here. Let's go back just a little more. So just to see what happens. Oh, he has wavering his input. Whoa! Oh, let me back up. Let me back up again and put that in slow-mo for us. Right here, it looks like he is going back and forth with his steering wheel a little bit. Okay, let's just see what happens. He's coming around. This is a very high-speed corner, but you have to brake almost at the apex or a little bit later to get the next corner. So that's what happens. Is he got his brake on? I can't tell. Not really. He is in. See, and he just cannot catch it. He's starting to catch it. Overcorrects, and then he lost the back end again somewhere. Oh, he got that one. It's his third try at recovering. He loses. So coming around that corner, he just let up on the throttle a little bit, and then these hypercars, that gives you a significant amount of braking force. So that's where he lost it initially. We won't belabor that point on that. Let's see where Nick is with respect to Jeremy. He watched. Let's watch it happen from Nick's point of view, and we'll do that in real time. So Jeremy harassing Benchaya certainly had an effect. But again, let's see how Nick handles this corner. You let up on the throttle here a little bit of brake, but harden the brake right about here. So you have to come around that corner with some care, because this corner is very sharp. You got to be down to a fairly low speed. All right, so this is going to be a battle. How is Brian's starting to lengthen his lead over Steve. McLennan cannot see those guys. Lee's quite further back. Sorry, I can't tell how many seconds, but that's the way it is. And there's Nick trying to chase down Jeremy, and I'm sure he's going to get him at some point. So I think Michelle it's going to continue for a while, but he's got a lot of damage. He's going to retire in a couple of laps. So let's just follow along with these guys, and that's basically going to be the action. I believe Nick should catch Jeremy, and after that, everybody gets spread out, so we will not spend the whole half hour watching that. Maybe I'll give you a couple of laps in cockpits for some of the leaders there to see how they handle this track. But let's just stay on with Nick to see how he catches Jeremy here. Jeremy went a little wide and Nick followed him. It's funny how that happens, isn't it? Okay, so while we're watching this, the reason... Oh, Jeremy went a little wide there. That's what allowed Nick to catch up big time. As I say, this is an interesting series of corners here. This corner, you just let up on the throttle, and that's enough. You get enough of a shift to get some traction here. Hard braking. Another corner that gets tighter. Now on the throttle, pretty much full. Oh no, full throttle all the way in. Set yourself up for the last corner before the straight. Let's see if Nick gets a great exit on Jeremy here and catches up during the straight. Nick is in what kind of car? He's in a Toyota, and Jeremy, I believe, is in a Porsche. Let's take a quick peek and see what that is. Jeremy is in a Porsche, yes. Nick is really catching up now. That's an interesting series of corners right now because you really have to sacrifice some speed coming out of that first corner to get that second corner set up right for this longer straight, kind of a back straight issue here. This is an interesting corner. You take it quite wide. It opens up quite well. So, and again, a little bit of a long straight here. So it's very important to set yourself up right. And this is the corner everybody has trouble with. Little bit of throttle layup gives you enough brake performance, and then really slow around this one because it tightens up very hard on the exit. Oh yes, Jeremy's having some. Let's just go on the track side with these two. Nick is going to get Jeremy sooner or later, I think, even though Jeremy is quite a good defensive driver. Love the graphics here, guys. Again, this is going to be the only and last battle of the race, so we'll just keep following it all the way along. I won't bother going to other guys because I know it kind of stays in this position for the rest of the race. Yes, so I'm at an auto show this week. I'm part of an association that, well, here he goes. No, I thought maybe Jeremy liked it. Oh, Jeremy went on the curb here. He's feeling the pressure. He's hitting those curbs pretty hard. He's desperately trying to stay away from Nick. And yes, so I'm part of an electric vehicle association, so we are demonstrating 10 different electric vehicles in test drives all weekend. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm getting paid to do it. So we've got mostly GM cars. They're the only ones that wanted to participate. So we've got 3 Cadillacs. We've got an Escalade, which is an awesome car for $170,000 Canadian. We've got a electric Hummer, which is kind of crazy. Seems like an oxymoron. It looks like Nick is getting in close here. I'll finish that story later. We are 12 minutes into the race, not quite halfway. Jeremy's doing a great job of defending on a faster driver here. Let's see if Nick gets him going on the long straight, if he gets a better exit. Let's see how fast Nick, look at that, he's drafting Jeremy around these corners in the long straight. He's going to take a crack at him here. Jeremy, I think, is going to let up a little bit, or maybe he didn't. But now Nick gets ahead of him, and I think he's going to take off at this point. But great battle. Jeremy did a great job holding him off for quite a while. He's got a pact with Lee Ellis, who's behind him. Everybody's behind him. I think Nick is in third place, so he's got a pack to hold him back a little bit. A little bit of team racing going on here. Let's see what Lee. And Lee is in he's in a Lamborghini, and McLennan's in a Ferrari. All right. So getting back, going back to my story. Yeah, we've got a bunch of Cadillacs, we've got a Nissan, and we've got the Volkswagen new Beetle van. So anyway, we're letting people go around a test track that's probably about 150 meters wide, and we let them launch it at a certain point. Launch these electric cars so they get up to about 50 to 60 kilometers an hour in about 75 yards, and then we make them hit the brakes. So it's a little bit scary for me sitting as a passenger and worrying about whether these guys are going to hit the braking. We gave them a braking point with some cones, so that's a bit helpful. Just get up here with Steve Young and see how far he is away from Brian. He can see Brian, I bet, on a certain point, but Brian is taken off from him. There we go. So we let them floor it and watch the reaction of the rocket-like takeoff speed of a electric car. So even the big, huge Hummer can get off on it. And the Hummer has the crab walking set up too, which is a bit useless, but it's kind of fun to let people try it. But it's been fun watching the reaction of older guys who've driven. We had a couple of pickup trucks also which have huge performance. I mean, they got these massive batteries, 200 plus kilowatt hours. They get about 700 kilometer range, but super heavy. Those pickups take off too. So it's fun to watch these old guys who are traditional gas guys with pickups of their own, and then I'd say, okay, floor it, and then the guy just takes off. And one guy last night, about 60, 70 years old, saying, oh my God, I never believed this would be like this. I'm so glad I tried it. I don't know if I'll buy one, but it was certainly an experience. Let's see how Nick is doing, trying to catch up with Lee Ellis. We are halfway through the race and on board with Nick. There he is. Okay, I did promise to show you a lap. Let's just do a lap with Brian here, the cream of the crop, in his Porsche on a hypercar at Interlagos. So if you have if you haven't tried LMU and you can want to splurge for it, it is definitely fun race. This is going to be a reckoning for a long time, I think, because they have the GT3 cars. I think LMU, once they get finished with setting up race type software, is going to give ACC a run for its money in terms of league racing, because it certainly is fun. And you can do multi-class racing, and I'm hoping all you guys that are in the LMU and driving try multi-class racing in AI, because after next season we're going to make a decision whether we would try multi-class racing with eSeniors, because for this first season session everybody was not familiar with the different types of cars, especially these hypercars. We decided not to, especially when we first started racing with them. They were quite sensitive, and we were all over the place. So that would have been a disaster in terms of crashes. But once we all get used to these cars, we'll have to weigh in at the end of the season whether we want to attempt to make our league race a multi-class race. Because I know the guys who are racing GT3 cars just love them. The physics are amazing. The tracks are cool. So, it is definitely fun to have multi-class. To have the ability to for a car like this LMU or this hypercar to share the track with GT3. Now, the GT3s, in my experience, with the AI ones, have very good cornering performance. So when you're following a GT3 car with with a hypercar, you're not going to make up much time on the corners, but man, oh man, they just take off on straight line speed. So I'm hoping we're going to do a multi-class race. It will be interesting when we do, if we do, and when we do, because the guys in the hypercars will get held up a little bit by the GT3s, and that will add for some excitement in the races. So I'm hoping we go to multi-class next year. Maybe we get the silver guys in LMUs and the platinum guys in GT3s and see how everything goes. I know I'd like to pass Brian Murray once in my lifetime, and Derek Bird and all the good, the amazing guys, Steve Young, all the great guys. So that's a lap with Brian, and let's see how Nick is doing on Ellis. See, this basically this gap stays for the rest of the race. So I'm just going to forward it on to the end of the race, and we'll catch people coming over the start-finish line in the order that they finish. Let's get a good view here of Brian coming around. So sorry to skip like that. Got lots to do today, so I didn't want to sit. Nothing really happens in the race. And anybody watching right now? Nobody's watching, no. So let's just catch a little bit further down the track for the last lap. I'm not sure if this is the last lap or not. But this is Mr. Brian Murray in first place, and you'll see the gaps, as I do not believe Nick catches Lee Ellis, and that's a big deal in the standings. Nick has got a 5th there, so that's going to knock a few points off his 3rd place league standings. I'll pop the league standings up at the end of the race again. Let's see if I can catch the right camera angle here for getting everybody over the finish line. Look at that speed. That's a great camera angle. Track side. Here comes Brian. I don't think down the straightaway. Is it gonna? This is kind of like heli mode here. Maybe this is gonna give us a good view of the start-finish line. Is this his last lap? It doesn't look like it, but that's a good view. We'll stick with it. I'll speed it up a little bit more. Here comes Brian around the second last set of corners there, I think. Nope. Fairly long lap here. 1:25 is what 23 I think was the pole position for Brian. Here we come. This may be the last corner. Look at this, guys. Let's see what kind of top speed Brian gets on this straightaway. These things are so low to the ground. Very sharp looking cars. Here we come, I believe, for the leader of the race and the winner of the race. There is Mr. Brian Murray coming around the last little bend and hitting the start-finish line. Thank you, Brian. There's no flashing of lights. And Steve Young coming across right there. Here he goes. I don't see a flag. There's the flag. Let's see how far back Mr. McLennan, and this might have been his top finish here, 3rd place. We'll take a look at the standings afterwards. He's coming around the straight. So he was a good 4 or 5 seconds behind. And there he goes with his checkered flag, Mr. Lee Ellis. And then in the background you see Nick. He never did catch up. Lee did a great job with his pace to stay ahead of Nick. And there is Nick going over the start-finish line. And second, next is Mr. Jeremy Arrobas in 6th place. Great job by him. He had a good race. He was asking for some setup tips because he thinks he needs to be a little bit better. I am not going to, I didn't finish the race. So there we go. That was the Interlagos LMU. So I promised to go back to the standings. So bear with me for 1 second and I'll show you the standings. And get all of it now. I don't have to hide some of it. So there we are. There are the standings after this race. Brian firmly in first position for the Northern Islander. Steve Young in second with 109, so he is 40-ish points away. But Nick Newcomb, even with that fifth place finish, is still only 8 points away. So there's a little bit of a rivalry there because Michael McLennan with that third place finish, I don't think he bumped up a spot, but he certainly put some distance between him and Jeremy in the standings. But Nick and Steve are going to be the rivalry here. We'll have to watch that for the rest of the season. And you can see the rest of the guys there. Uwe has missed a couple of races. Michelle, with that 8th place finish, I think dropped below Ellie Ellis in the standings. So that's another one we'll have to watch. All right, so that is it for LMU Racing. Thank you to our sponsors. Let me get the screen back up again. Hold on here. And I'm going to put my pretty face back up. Thank you to our sponsors, Sim3D and Syndeo, for your long-standing support of eSeniors. And we'll see you next week at Sebring. Sebring is a very interesting track. Very long. I think it's 8 kilometers long. Lots of corners. Lots of different corners. And part of it is on, I'm not sure if it's on an airfield or it's very interesting in the sense that the corners hard to see, and those guys who haven't tried it yet and are listening that are hypercar guys, you better practice it because it's pretty tough to find your bearings on that track. So yeah, very interesting track. Those of you who are watching, make sure you watch that next week because it's a great one. All right, that is Mike Molesky signing off for this week. We'll see you next week with eSeniors, both GT3 and hypercar. My next broadcast is Mustang Monday, and today's afternoon race, I'm recording this Saturday morning, so actually got to get some practice in for ACC GT3. Bye for now.